Ladies and gentlemen, listen, life is tough. I know that. You don't need me to tell you that. But let me tell you something. There's a voice inside you, a quiet whisper that's guiding you. It's not loud, it's not brash. It's soft, it's the voice of God telling you to keep walking, telling you to trust the path you're on, even when you're walking alone. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why does it feel like I'm carrying this weight by myself? Where's everyone else? But here's the thing. When you're alone, that's when you're truly free. That's when you get to hear what's really in your heart, what's really in your soul. You see, God doesn't always shout. No, sometimes he whispers. He whispers to the woman who walks alone because he knows she's the one who will listen. You got to trust that when it gets hard, when it gets quiet, when you're walking that road alone, know that you're not abandoned. No, you're being prepared. You're being shaped into someone who doesn't need anyone else's approval because you've learned to rely on yourself. And more importantly, you've learned to rely on him. That's how you find your strength, by learning how to stand on your own 2 feet. Not in spite of being alone, but because of it. There's something powerful about knowing that the only person you need to impress is yourself. And if you can impress God, well, that's all that matters. You see, walking alone is not a punishment. It's a calling. A calling to rise above the noise, above the doubts, and above the fear. It's a calling to greatness, and greatness doesn't come with crowds. Greatness comes in the quiet moments, in the moments when everyone else walks away. So keep walking, even when you feel like the road is too long. Keep walking when the weight feels heavy. Keep walking when the doubt creeps in. Because God is whispering to you right now, telling you, I'm right here. Keep going. You are not alone. You're walking toward your destiny. You're walking toward your victory. And there's nothing, no one, and no fear that can stop you. Trust yourself. Trust God. Keep walking. Trusting your own path is one of the most powerful things you can do in life. It's easy to get distracted by the noise around you, the expectations of others, the pressure to conform, the fear of judgment. But when you trust your own path, you silence all of that. You begin to walk with a sense of purpose and direction that's uniquely yours. No one else can walk your journey for you, and no one else can tell you what your destination should be. The world will try to pull you in many directions, suggesting that you should follow this trend or that way of doing things. But deep down, you know that what works for someone else may not be the right fit for you. You have to have the courage to reject the cookie-cutter paths and trust that the one you're on, however uncertain it may seem, is the right one for you. That path may not be easy. It may be filled with obstacles, challenges, and moments where you question if you're going in the right direction. But the strength comes from knowing that these challenges are part of your growth. They are not signs of failure. They are signs that you're pushing forward. When you trust your own path, you begin to understand that it doesn't matter how long it takes or how different it is from what others expect. What matters is that you're moving with conviction, aligned with your own values and purpose. Every step you take, even the small ones, builds your confidence and trust in yourself. The more you follow your intuition, the more you'll realize that the only person you need to answer to is yourself. There's a unique strength that comes from solitude, a power that's often misunderstood. People think that being alone means weakness or isolation. But in reality, solitude provides the space to discover who you truly are. It's in those quiet moments when no one is around to distract you that you can truly hear your thoughts, reflect on your desires, and evaluate your choices. It's where you can separate your voice from the noise of the world and connect with your own inner strength. In solitude, you're forced to face yourself. There's nowhere to hide from your fears, your insecurities, or your doubts. But this is exactly where growth happens. When you learn to sit with yourself, to be present with your own thoughts and emotions, you unlock a sense of clarity and self-awareness that's impossible to gain when you're constantly surrounded by others. You learn to trust your own judgment, to rely on your own instincts, and to build the courage to make decisions that are true to who you are. Strength in solitude doesn't come from being unaffected by the world. It comes from the ability to stand firm in who you are, regardless of what's happening around you. It's about developing the inner resolve to keep moving forward, even when the path seems uncertain, knowing that you have the tools in yourself to handle whatever comes your way. It's not about avoiding connection with others, but learning to be whole in yourself first. Only then can you truly engage with the world, not from a place of need, but from a place of self-sufficiency and inner strength. Resilience is not something that's simply handed to us. It's something that is forged in the heat of adversity. When life throws challenges your way, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to want to give up, or to retreat into safety. But the truth is, it's in those very moments of struggle that we discover the strength we never knew we had. Adversity doesn't define us. It refines us. It forces us to dig deep within ourselves, to face our fears and weaknesses head on, and to find new ways of adapting and overcoming. When we experience hardship, it often feels like the world is pushing us down. But what we don't realize in those moments is that we're being tested. Every setback, every obstacle is an opportunity to build resilience. It's easy to stand tall when the ground beneath you is firm, but true strength comes when the earth is shaking beneath your feet and you still find a way to keep moving forward. Each time you rise after a fall, you become stronger, wiser, and more capable of facing the next challenge. Resilience is born in adversity because it forces us to redefine what we are capable of. It challenges our limits and expands our mental, emotional, and physical strength. It teaches us that setbacks are not failures, but stepping stones to something greater. As we continue to face difficulties, we start to build a mindset that is focused on solutions rather than problems, progress rather than defeat. The more we learn to adapt, the more we learn that we are not defined by the adversity we face, but by how we rise above it. Faith in your inner voice is one of the most powerful forms of self-belief you can cultivate. It's easy to get caught up in the noise around you, the advice of others, societal expectations, and the pressure to conform. But deep down, each of us has an inner voice that speaks truthfully, quietly, and consistently. The problem is we often don't listen to it. We drown it out with doubt, fear, and the loud opinions of others. Yet, the more you trust that inner voice, the clearer and stronger it becomes, guiding you in directions that align with your authentic self. Your inner voice is the compass that directs you toward your purpose. It may not always speak in grand declarations, but in subtle nudges, quiet impulses, or a persistent feeling that something feels right or wrong. Faith in this voice is the courage to act on it, even when there's no external validation or clear roadmap ahead. It's about trusting yourself enough to know that you are capable of making the right choices, even when those choices defy conventional wisdom or are met with resistance. The more you tune into your inner voice, the more attuned you become to what truly matters. It teaches you to make decisions from a place of clarity, not confusion. It helps you navigate through life's uncertainties, not by relying on others to tell you the way, but by trusting that you have the wisdom within you. Faith in your inner voice means believing in yourself, not just when everything is going right, but especially when things are unclear or uncertain. It's about listening, trusting, and acting on that quiet yet powerful guidance that speaks from the heart. Perseverance is the quiet strength that keeps you moving forward when everything else tells you to quit. It's the determination to keep pushing, even when the road is long, when the challenges seem insurmountable, and when doubt begins to creep in. In moments like these, it's easy to question whether it's worth it. But true perseverance is found in those very moments of uncertainty. It's about choosing to keep going one step at a time, even when you can't see the end of the path. It's about trusting that each small effort, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is leading you closer to where you need to be. Perseverance is not about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to push even harder. Each setback, each mistake is an opportunity to refine your approach, to grow stronger, and to build resilience. Success isn't reserved for those who never fail. It belongs to those who refuse to give up in the face of failure. It's the ability to rise again after being knocked down, to stand up stronger than before, and to keep moving forward with unwavering determination. The power of perseverance lies in its ability to transform your mindset. It teaches you that success is not defined by how quickly you achieve your goals, but by how consistently you keep working toward them, no matter the obstacles. Every day you persevere, you build not just progress, but character. You develop a mindset that doesn't quit, a heart that refuses to give in, and a spirit that finds strength in adversity. Perseverance is the key to unlocking your true potential, proving to yourself that no matter the challenge, you are capable of overcoming it. You are not defined by the expectations of others, though society often tries to make you believe that you are. From a young age, we are conditioned to seek approval, to meet the standards set by those around us. Parents, teachers, friends, and even strangers can impose expectations on us, sometimes out of love, sometimes out of their own fears and desires. But the reality is, no one else can define your worth or determine your path except for you. The moment you start living your life based on someone else's definition, you lose touch with who you truly are. When you allow others to set the terms of your life, you give away your power. You begin to mold yourself into something that fits someone else's vision of success, not your own. This might look good on paper. It might even make others proud, but deep down you'll feel a disconnect between who you are and who you're trying to be. You will find yourself constantly struggling to meet someone else's standards, never feeling fulfilled, because the truth is, those standards were never meant for you. The key to freedom is realizing that your worth is intrinsic and independent of the approval of others. You define your own success based on your values, passions, and aspirations. It's not about pleasing others, it's about pleasing yourself by being true to who you are. It's about recognizing that the only person whose expectations truly matter is the one you see in the mirror every day. When you stop trying to meet everyone else's standards and start focusing on your own, you begin to live a life of purpose, authenticity, and self-empowerment. Embracing your authenticity is about being unapologetically yourself, regardless of what others think or expect. The world constantly tries to shape us, telling us how we should look, act, or think. Social media, societal norms, and even close relationships can pressure us to conform, to fit into molds that aren't ours. But the truth is, your real power lies in your uniqueness. When you embrace who you truly are, flaws and all, you tap into a strength that can never be replicated by anyone else. Authenticity means letting go of the need for validation from others. It's the courage to stand tall and say, "This is me, take it or leave it." It's about accepting your strengths and weaknesses, your quirks and imperfections, because they are what make you, you. The more you embrace your authentic self, the less you feel the need to pretend, to wear a mask that hides your true nature. There's freedom in knowing that you don't have to be anyone else to be worthy. When you embrace your authenticity, you stop seeking approval and start seeking alignment with your true self. You align your actions, your goals, and your choices with what truly resonates with you. It might not always be easy, and it may require standing alone at times, but the peace that comes from living authentically is unmatched. You begin to attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences that are in line with who you truly are. You no longer waste energy trying to fit into a version of yourself that was never meant to be. Embracing your authenticity is not just about self-acceptance. It's about realizing that the world needs the real you, not some version of you that's been molded by external influences. Growth often happens in the moments of silence, in the stillness where we are left to reflect on ourselves and the world around us. In the hustle and bustle of everyday life, it's easy to get distracted by external noise, opinions, distractions, and the constant rush to move from one task to the next. But it's in the quiet, when everything slows down, that we find the space to grow. Silence allows for introspection. It's in those quiet moments that you can truly listen to your own thoughts, understand your emotions, and evaluate where you stand. You begin to see the patterns in your behavior, recognize the areas of your life that need change, and identify the parts of yourself that need healing. In the silence, you get the chance to reconnect with your purpose without the influence of the outside world. When we're constantly surrounded by noise, we often make decisions based on external pressures or reactions. But in silence, you can tune into your own needs and desires. It's where clarity arises, where you find solutions to problems you didn't even realize were weighing on you. Growth happens because silence creates the space to heal, to learn, and to truly evolve. The process of growth requires time, patience, and often discomfort. It's about sitting with your thoughts, allowing the uncomfortable feelings to rise, and processing them. It's in these moments of solitude that you build resilience, not by avoiding the tough things, but by sitting with them and learning from them. Growth doesn't always come in loud, noticeable ways. Sometimes it's the small shifts that happen quietly, imperceptibly, that lead to the greatest transformation. God's whisper is not always loud or obvious. It comes in quiet moments when you least expect it. It's not a thunderous voice from the heavens, but a gentle nudge that calls you towards something greater. It speaks through your intuition, through that deep sense of knowing that something is right for you, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. That whisper is a calling, guiding you toward your true purpose, even when you are unsure of where it will lead. It's easy to get caught up in the noise of the world, to focus on external achievements, or to seek validation from others. But God's whisper doesn't need an audience. It's personal, it's intimate, and it's meant only for you to hear. This whisper often appears in moments of stillness, when the distractions fade away and you're left with only your thoughts. It speaks to your soul, encouraging you to step out of your comfort zone, to take risks, and to trust in something bigger than yourself. Sometimes it calls you to be brave when fear holds you back, or to take a leap of faith when the path is unclear. It asks you to trust that even when you can't see the full picture, you're exactly where you need to be. God's whisper may not be loud, but its message is clear. You are called to something meaningful, and that call is unique to you. When you listen to that whisper, you align yourself with your purpose, and even in the uncertainty, you find peace, knowing that you're following a path that's meant for you. The whisper is constant. It's always there, waiting for you to listen. Victory is not always instant. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't come easily. Often, it's the result of a long journey filled with obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. The path to victory requires more than just hard work. It requires faith and patience. Faith is what keeps you moving forward when you can't yet see the outcome. It's the belief that what you're doing matters, that every step you take, even the smallest one, is moving you closer to your goal. Without faith, it's easy to get discouraged, to question whether the struggle is worth it. But faith is the anchor that keeps you grounded, even when the storms of uncertainty swirl around you. Patience is the other essential ingredient. It's the ability to wait without becoming discouraged, to trust in the process, even when things aren't happening as quickly as you'd like. In a world that rewards instant gratification, patience can be a rare quality. But the truth is, nothing worth having comes without time and effort. Victory is built on small, consistent actions over time. It requires the understanding that things will unfold when they are meant to, and that the journey itself is part of the victory. Patience allows you to stay steady, to keep your focus, and to persevere even when progress seems slow or invisible. Victory doesn't come to those who give up at the first sign of difficulty or who expect immediate rewards. It comes to those who keep the faith, who trust in their own abilities, and who remain patient enough to let their efforts compound over time. With faith to guide you and patience to sustain you, victory is not just a possibility, it is inevitable. In the end, it's clear that the journey to success and fulfillment is not defined by speed or perfection, but by the strength of your faith, the courage to walk alone, and the perseverance to keep moving forward despite the obstacles. When you trust your own path, embrace your authenticity, and listen to the quiet whispers guiding you, you unlock the power to rise above adversity. It's in the silence, in the solitude, and in the moments of struggle that your true growth takes place. Resilience is born when you refuse to quit, when you keep going even when the way seems unclear. Victory is not an event. It's the culmination of all the small, courageous steps you take in faith and patience, knowing that each one leads you closer to your purpose. Never forget, your worth is not defined by others' expectations, but by your ability to stand firm in who you are. Keep trusting, keep moving, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself, because with faith, perseverance, and authenticity, there's no limit to what you can achieve.